Yeah, I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think people ingest news by headlines and photos, and I think people just think now, maybe not the people who are paying attention as much, but people just think, oh well, Trump had documents, Biden had documents, and all the context is kind of missing. And we're having a discussion about the context, but there's nothing that is going to convince us that this is equal yet, at least, right? So, yeah, I think that's lost on people. But speaking of context, I want to pivot to the special counsel really quick. When I first heard this, people were upset because they're like, "Oh, well, Garland slow tracked his special counsel for Trump, and here we are a day later, and Biden has one." But I actually took that as a good thing because it's pretty clear to me that they want this wrapped up. They see this as two problems. One is I believe, they believe at least, that Trump indictments are coming, and so special counsel gives them a little bit of a buffer to say this is an independent Republican at that point, a special counsel who's saying the same thing we're saying. So it gives them a buffer on Trump. And now if Trump is indicted and Biden doesn't have a special counsel, the right and the hysteria and Republicans will be able to say, well, Trump got a special counsel and Biden didn't. And so I think this move was simply to say we have to treat this equally. Even if they're not equal, we have to at least publicly treat it equally and go about it the right way, because then they have, I wouldn't say deniability, but they have a reason later to say we treated it exactly the same way. So they want to wrap the Biden up thing probably pretty quickly. And if they're as confident as everyone seems, then this is going to get wrapped up rather quickly, right? I don't know how long it takes to track this down. I just hope we avoid a Comey situation 2 years from now if Biden's on the ballot, right? But it's pretty clear to me they want this wrapped up because indictments are coming for Trump, and they want to make sure that they dot their T's and cross their I's, or whatever the saying is. So what's your take on that whole thing?
Well, I kind of agree with some of my favorite legal pundits, and it's twofold, and it's one of those where we've got to look at it from both sides. Evidently, by the legal standards, the legal thresholds that exist, or guidelines, I won't say thresholds, but guidelines, best practices. A lot of people, a lot of former U.S. attorneys, a lot of former federal prosecutors are saying that this does not meet the standards of having a special counsel. However, and so there's some who are resting on that, saying legally, it does not meet the criteria. However, there are some saying it doesn't meet the criteria, but from a political standpoint, it is probably the best thing, because if Merrick Garland turned around tomorrow and said, there's no there, and if he did it, you get a situation where people are saying he's letting his boss off. He's Bill Barr. And we don't want Merrick Garland to be Bill Barr. Remember, one of the things we've talked about, especially I used to give you a hard time early on when you were kind of partially sympathetic to the do something crowd, that what happens is we hate how Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions before him moved, but then there's people on our side who want Garland to move just like Bill Barr or just move like Giuliani, and if we do that, that's a huge mistake. So, I mean, now granted, so I think that that's the case, and I think I texted you what Jen Psaki said on MSNBC the other day, where Jen Psaki said, short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah, it sucks. You're going to have a bad 72 hours, maybe 2 weeks of headlines. But to your point, um, you know, as many of us expect that Biden will be exonerated, um, now the people who want to see Biden gone, the people who hate Biden, there's nothing you could do. Jesus himself could come here and say Joe Biden is innocent, and those people wouldn't be moved. But for an ample part of the population, a significant part of the population, I would assume that an all clear from the special counsel would go a lot further than an all clear from Merrick Garland.